Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Unleashed Alchemy, bringing you the episode from my car this time. So I want to talk about this topic. I've touched on it several times in some of my videos, but I want to dedicate this full episode to this. And first, what I want to say is this may sound like a rant. Perhaps it sounds like a frustration. If it sounds like that, it's because it is. Okay, so let's start there. There are these common phrases that it seems as if I am hearing and seeing and reading more and more when it comes to spirituality. Those common phrases, or some iteration of these phrases, is bring spirituality down to the practical level. Or let's talk about spirituality on a practical level. Those phrases insinuate that spirituality is not practical, that spirituality is somehow separate from us. It's almost as if when people use those phrases, what I hear is that they're viewing spirituality as somewhere out there, and then here we are as human beings down here. That is not the case. Those phrases get on my nerves. When we use those phrases, when we listen to those phrases, we are still allowing our ego and logic to be in the driver's seat instead of the other way around. What is the other way around? The other way around is allowing our soul and our spirit to be in the driver's seat. Therefore, our ego serves our calling, our ego serves our soul purpose, not the other way around. Excuse that noise. We are by nature spiritual. We are souls. We're spirits. We came into the world as spiritual beings. We came into the world as spiritual beings. We had to take up this body in order to have this grounded human experience. Okay? We came into this body as ethereal beings, as cosmic beings, as star beings, so that we wouldn't float away. Okay? We came into this body to bring our inherent spiritual knowledge, our inherent spiritual wisdom to create on this earth. To bridge the unseen with the seen. That is why we are here. All of us have different ways that we were put here to do that. But essentially, that's what we all came here to do. Okay? We came here to bring divinity into our lives, to embody divinity, to embody the high priestess, to embody the high priest, to embody the goddess, to embody the god, okay? To experience enchantments in our physical lives. So when we hear those phrases that I just talked about, that I said get on my nerves, people are not still grasping that there is no separation. They're still not grasping that our power and our magic, and yes, I literally mean magic, the power and the magic that we came here with, think of it like a golden, like a golden container, whatever that looks like to you, just completely doused in every precious stone, every precious jewel, crystal, whatever, the most beautiful container that you can possibly think of. We carry that. And when we open that, what's in there contains all the magic and power that we came here to work with and embody. And it's just waiting there for us to open, to unleash it, to tap into it. That is what we use to integrate. It is our spiritual toolbox. So, I'm going to say this. Could it be that the chaos that we're seeing with our senses, the genocide that is taking place, not a war, it's not a war, it's a genocide that is taking place, could it be, and even just with all the other humanitarian challenges that we see, could it be it's because we are too focused on trying to make spirituality practical? We're trying to find scientific proof for all of our spirituality. Could it be that I know, we've heard this phrase about the Great Awakening that has taken place, or Great Awakening is taking place. Well, how about the Great Awakening is going to be when people stop trying to separate spirituality and science? Our ancient ancestors knew it already. They did not separate the two. They were intertwined. Our ancients knew that. The ancient beings knew that. For millions of years ago, they knew that. But here we are today, living in a society that has, I'm going to say conveniently and egoically, is egoically a word? Well, it is today, have separated the two. So now we also have people who discuss spirituality. And what I've noticed is they feel as though they have to say, oh, and by the way, this is backed by science, in order to prove something to people. Spiritualists don't need to do that. Just now, science is catching up with spirituality. Okay, if we want to talk about that. But even that in itself, just what I said, that's a completely different episode as well. So we don't need to do that. Also, could it be that the moment we start to embody the truth that we are spiritual beings, we came here with a magic container. We are the magic container, by the way. Okay. All the magic that we have, we needed this body for that magic to exist on this earth. That we have not even tapped into yet. We have not unleashed, and it's sitting there waiting, brewing and waiting to be unleashed, so that we can experience all the love, all the abundance of all good, the prosperity, the perfect health, the guidance, the wisdom, the freedom, the harmonious sensuality that we were designed and destined to experience. So that we can first we experience that in our lives, then our lives affect the rise of humanity to the occasion of love, abundance, peace, harmony. Okay? So I'm going to say this as well. Could it be that the moment that we stop trying to make spirituality separate from our daily lives, and we start to understand that we can enchant our lives, even in what we would call the most mundane moments, that we can experience elevation and expansion. Elevation and expansion is just a natural thing. We don't think of it as, okay, it's this grand moment, because we have started to embody that. It's just something that happens. It becomes just as, I don't want to say mundane, but just as regular and as normal as brushing our teeth. Okay? So when we tap into that self continually, when we stay connected to the I am, and we start to use our voice to invoke and command what we want to see in our lives, that is when we get the fusion. That's the fusion that needs to happen. So we need to stop referring to, or stop with these phrases of bring spirituality down on a practical level. We don't need to do that. We need to start tapping into our power. It's already practical because we're here. It's already practical because we're already having this human experience. It's time for us to unleash. Open up that magic toolbox, reach in and start creating for the good of your life, which automatically, we don't even need to say for the good of the world. For the good of your life, when you are living a life that is so fulfilled, because you are a high priest, a high priestess, a goddess, a god, naturally it's going to affect the world. Okay? So that's what I wanted to leave you with. Also, I want to remind you about the 8 days of this abundance fest. I guess that's what I like to call it, or we can call it 8 days of abundance odyssey, or not abundance. Self-gratitude. Well, actually, we could call it abundance, because when you show gratitude toward yourself, it just automatically opens up another level of abundance in your life anyway. So we can call it that. But that starts March 14th, beginning March 14th for 8 days, March 14th through March 22nd. I will be releasing a video on YouTube every single day that touches on the importance of self-gratitude and what that does unleash in your life. You don't even have to, you'll start to experience changes, internal changes especially, even before the 8 days is already over. Okay? On that 8th day, on the March 22nd, I will be dropping a 22% off discount code that you can use for your first month in the Unleashed Alchemy Mystery Portal. So your first month, you'll be able to take advantage of the 22% off, where I go into depth about everything that I have talked about on this show. I go into more depth about the self-gratitude and how essential that is to spiritual elevation and spiritual transformation. The workshop is so rich and so full of spiritual resources that will leave you feeling more confident and will leave you feeling more empowered, that will open up your spiritual gifts to you, that will leave you with more confidence to actually function and begin to use your spiritual gifts in your everyday life, in all aspects of your life, in your relationships, business, career, all of it. So stick around for that. Also, I do still take one-on-one appointments. So to read more about the Unleashed Alchemy Mystery School, I'm going to leave the link in the description box of this video. To schedule an appointment with me, I'm going to leave the link to sign up for a session. And there's one more thing that I wanted to add to that. So when I start on the 14th, we're going to go for the 8 days. On the 22nd, you'll have the discount code to use. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. I'll have to come back to that. There's something else that I wanted to say. Well, if I think of it, I'll leave it in the description. So anyway, thank you for watching this episode. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. Thank you for being here, and until next time, cheers.